On this episode, we talk about 999 spoiled rich girls, what keeps me inspired to solve all of my problems, and one YouTuber that I'm particularly impressed with. Hey everybody, and welcome to Finish Friday, the show that helps more creative people change more lives. I'm Todd B from Tennessee, your host, and I created this show because on a scale of 1 to only eating one Cheez-It at a time. What? Come on. Creating things is hard. Whew, man, that intro is feeling good, right? Like I'm getting used to all this now. I like the set, I like the mics, I like the camera, I like this vibe. I like the chance to talk to you in the format of this show. What's going on? Oh, finally saw La La Land. So if you're watching this show, you're a creative person, watch La La Land. It's one of those weird, like, I gotta think about this because it's one of the rare movies that I have seen which actually gets better as it goes on. Like usually, I gotta be honest, like if I saw La La Land on Netflix way after the fact and after the hype and after it came out, I probably would have bailed on it because the first 30 minutes, like I wasn't feeling the first 30 minutes at all. But after that point, you know, it just improved and improved and improved. And when it gets to the end where it's like, here's to the ones who dream. Oh, yes. I felt that so much. It was incredible. So if you haven't seen La La Land, I'd highly recommend it. Not because it's the best movie ever, but because if you are creative, you will identify so much with what goes on in that movie and you'll enjoy it. And you don't need my endorsement because you have now the endorsement of the whole world. But without further ado, let's get into today's topic. Today's topic revolves around someone who frankly kind of collects a lot of controversy. Even around Nashville in her hometown, she often has trouble like getting accepted, and she's someone who's received criticism from the very beginning. And I gotta talk about her now because she's from my home state and she's someone I identify with and love very much, and that person is Taylor Swift. Now look, you guys slow down right now because I know I don't want to lose you. Some of you are like, Taylor Swift closing me out right now. But you got to hear me out on this one because I want you to see what she has done from start to finish, and I want you to be able to respect her for the creative that she is, even if you don't dig her style or her songwriting or anything like that. So the thing, Darth Vader causing problems over here. The thing that I respect the most about Taylor Swift is just the fact that she showed up from the very beginning. You know, she receives a lot of criticism. I get it, right? I get it, right? Because she had a rich daddy. Like, I'm not going to try and play around with that. I'm not going to pretend like she didn't have certain advantages in life that other people don't have. Like, Taylor Swift, from the very beginning, was probably going to do quite well in life just because of where she started, right? Like, when you're born into money, you have distinct advantages in the world that other people simply don't have right away. But the thing that I want to touch on with Taylor Swift is the fact that even though she was born into wealth, and even though she was born in the prime of Music City, and even though her dad did have all of these connections at record labels, for every one Taylor Swift there are 999 Jane Smiths who are spoiled rich girls who aren't doing anything to progress their creative talent, who aren't doing anything to grow or make an impact on the world. The thing you gotta remember is that Taylor Swift started playing guitar long before anybody had ever heard of her, right? Like she was growing up 12, 13, 14, even before she was getting into the business. Even before she was getting into anything like that, she was learning to play the guitar, right? Like she was learning about songwriting. She was learning to build a skill. She was learning what it took to kind of make a song from start to end and keep people's attention with a guitar and do all this and that. So I want to say that it doesn't matter where you're starting from. Guys, like some of you are watching this right now and you get hung up because you didn't get XYZ advantage when you were born, or a lot of you are watching this right now, right? And you want to start a business, or you feel like your creative energies are going to be applied toward a business, but you weren't born in Silicon Valley, so you're like, ooh, I might not achieve this, that, or whatever. I want to encourage you right now. It doesn't matter where you start. It matters where you finish. You have absolutely zero control over where you were born, or who your parents were, or how much money you have. So instead, I want you to shift all of your focus, right? Every single ounce of your being from here's where I started to here's where I want to finish. You and I may never reach the heights that Taylor Swift already has. Like that's a reality, that we may not ever see that peak. We may not ever see that money. We may not ever see that fame. But she started there, and she is doing everything she can to get as far as she can. All you can do is start where you are and do everything you can to get to where you want to. It doesn't matter where you start. It matters how you finish. And with that, let's get into today's question of the week. Today's question of the week is brought to you by the audio book of The Creative's Curse, which is my book. Okay, so guys, it feels appropriate right now to take time and explain how all this works. I don't get paid to put this book on the table, or that book that's holding it up. This is Seconds by Brian Lee O'Malley. I really like it. I want you guys to see it. That's how that works. This is a dope Darth Vader mug. I really like it. I want you guys to see it. I'm working on getting some sponsors in place for the show. I've had a couple people reach out to me, but for now, it's going to be sponsored by my audiobook. I'll do what I did before and put in a segment of that audiobook right now.
What we have here is a situation of priorities. Often, when you're a creative hustling to make a name for herself, you will have to make difficult decisions about how to spend your free time. Let me provide a guide to you for how to judge these priorities. Priority 1, create new art. Priority 2, everything else.
So go ahead and pick that up on Audible. It's just over $6, and I promise it's a good read. It's got stuff, the Kindle version does it, and you get to hear my beautiful voice the whole time. So without further ado, let's get into the question for the day. Question of the week. Question of the week. See, episode 2. I'm still sorting it all out, right? Question of the week comes from Yash Jaju from India, and I hope I pronounced that name right. I should have looked at it a little more, or asked you before I shut the show. What's the burning desire that keeps you inspired and helps to crush all your problems? That inspiration or a thought which lets you make progress in each and every day. If you could reply, it would be a great honor for me. So if you want to ask us a question for the show at any time, you can email me, todd@toddbryson.com, or just reach out on Twitter. I'll get you a shout out on the side of the screen, just like I did with Yash just now. And as you might have guessed, I'm saying all that so I can stall and think about my answer. Honestly, I think it's kind of evolved. So when I first started, so to give you some context, I started from zero with my writing career. I wasn't, I didn't get much of a leg up. I didn't start my writing career with a whole bunch of followers. I started from zero on Medium, and now we're up above 25,000. Check the stats today. And I'm showing up on Jeff Gowen's blog today, which is incredible. That's been a great connection. And so I'm telling you that so that you know how far I've come and what things have changed along the way. I think from the beginning, the one person actually that kept me going and kept me on fire was my then girlfriend, now wife, Kate. She's somewhere over there in another room. Whenever we started, right, whenever we were first getting together and we were in college and we were trying to make it on our own, she got up and went to work every afternoon as a server, right, to bring home some cash for us. And she would bring home like these $3 pizzas, and like we'd eat them in the middle of the night because she didn't get off till forever. And those conversations right there that we had, and I don't know if this is like a man thing, like it was something instilled in me by my dad. Like you kind of want to be the provider of your family, but at that time I wasn't. Like I was getting paid not very much to write for the school newspaper, and any other time that she was working, I was writing. So like I had this weird commitment to myself that I was like, okay, she's doing this now, I'm going to pay her back every single day, every single penny, as much as I possibly can. And it wasn't like a payback thing, because at the time, like, I knew I was gonna marry this girl, but it was kind of this mentality like, she's making such an investment and a sacrifice for us now, just to keep food on the table and to make sure that, you know, we could both pay for school and go out to eat and do some of these things that we enjoyed to do, so that we can have some fun as a couple back then, you know, when I was not making that much. So from the very beginning, Kate was my burning inspiration. Like, I woke up every day and I wanted to provide for her. I wanted to write for her. I wanted to grow big for her. And to be honest, like, you know, people look at marriage and they think, oh, that's, you know, that's a lot of time you got to take with another person. You got to spend all this time and this energy. But I guarantee you, I would not be anywhere close to what I am today if I didn't have Kate in my life. Not because the marriage doesn't take time or energy or effort or any of those things, but because she is such a fuel to what I do every day. I wake up and I want to be my best self for her. So that's where the inspiration starts. As we've grown, like now, I mean, look, like I have my own show and I have people that come and watch it. And so that in itself is kind of a burning inspiration. I wake up 5:30 in the morning knowing that people want to read what I have to say. And I got a little bit more, and I know this segment's getting kind of long, but I have a little bit more because there was a switch in my mind one day when I realized, like, I was writing and I was pretty confident in my writing, but I heard someone like phrase something this way. They said, I wanted to contribute to the YouTube community. And that really blew my mind for a little bit, because I like, up until that point, I had the mindset, I'm like, oh, YouTube's here to like exist and we're just kind of a part of it. It's not like that at all. Like, if you're watching this right now and you do your own YouTube channel, you are contributing to YouTube. Right? Like, I really want you to get that. I really want you to hear this, because the more you do and like create your own stuff, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever it is, Instagram's a big one, right? Whatever you bring to the platform, you are helping grow that platform, because not only are you participating in it as a person, you bring all of your people onto that platform. And so when I heard that, I'm like, I need to, and this is going to sound crazy to some of you, like, this is where I start to get a reputation maybe as a little bit of an egomaniac, but like, I need to show up on Medium and contribute to Medium, because that helps Medium grow and live and become something else. Like, if no one's on Medium, it goes away. It disappears. It doesn't matter like how cool people think it is. If there's not the people there to create content and put stuff on there, those platforms go away. Instagram goes away if nobody uses it. And so it's a mindset for me that I'm going to support these things that I love. That's why I'm on YouTube now. I'm going to support these things that I love. I'm going to give back to them as much as possible. And I literally just try to live wide open with what's on my heart and what's on my mind, because I know that people find it valuable, and I know that if I can give some perspective from what I'm thinking, then maybe someone else in the universe can realize that they are not alone. Whew. Okay, that went further than I thought it did, but yeah, I like that. I like these big long segments. I hope you guys like them too. But now we got to get into today's artist spotlight. Today's artist spotlight goes out to a fellow YouTuber. This woman, a young woman, and I connected during NaNoWriMo when I was in full cheerleader mode. I'm pretty sure that's where, basically, if I get to a point where I'm like, how did I meet you? It was probably NaNoWriMo, when I was talking to literally every person on Twitter. using the tag. But this woman is 22, but her mind is older, as her Twitter profile says, and her name is Clara Rossetti. Clara, I hope I pronounced that correctly. But I had to give a shout out to Clara because she embodies everything that I think an aspiring writer needs to do. You know, last week, if you didn't watch the episode, we talked about John Green and the fact that so much of his success is built on his YouTube stuff and his Tumblr stuff, and the fact that he was able to build kind of this John Green atmosphere of readers where everybody loved him and came to know him as a human being. Clara is following in that exact vein where she's kind of building her personality. If you I'm going to link it up down below. Make sure to go over there and show Clara some love. And if you see her page for 2 minutes, she's just a shining picture of exactly what she wants to be. And it's, as you guys know, it's my theory that through that she's going to build an audience. She's going to build a whole group of people that love her, so that when she does get that publishing deal or whatever it is that you, Clara, or she wants, she has the people there to support her and to help her in that career. And really, that's the whole point of being online. Ooh, I feel like I ended that section the last 2 weeks with that's the whole point of XYZ. Well. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and subscribe down below if you haven't already, or give me a thumbs up. If not, let me know in the comments what's going on. Either way, actually, leave a comment. I am absolutely loving the discussion that happens down below. I'm loving my new friends and my new family in this show. So far, I am absolutely convinced that this was the right decision. Thanks so much for watching. Again, I'm Todd B from Tennessee, and I will talk with you soon.